Hi there everybody, and I'm glad you could join me today. I was feeling a little nostalgic earlier, so I pulled out my Nintendo 64 game collection, and I'm probably gonna set it up and play it later, but I was just looking through my games and thought you might want to check it out too. So here's one game that I have. It's Mission Impossible. That was a very fun game to play. I remember me and my friends used to take turns playing this game. As soon as one of us died, we would just switch the controller over and the next one would play. So, a lot of fond memories with that game right there. And let's see what else we have. Another copy of the same game. I always wondered how that happened. Since I have two copies of that, let me just go ahead and show you my little surprise here. I have it complete in the box. Mission Impossible. Comes with all of the paperwork that originally came with the game. And of course the game is in there, making it 3 copies that I have of that game now. I think I couldn't find it maybe at one point, and so I got on eBay and I bid on a couple of copies, and it turns out that they didn't go for as much as what I thought they might, and next thing you know, I have 2 more copies show up in the mail. So it is what it is, right? I'm perfectly fine with having copies of Nintendo 64 games. Next game is Mario Golf. I love this game. Me and my father, we used to play Mario Golf on a regular basis. Pretty much every night, before I was getting ready to go to bed for school, because you would always find me gaming on my Nintendo 64, and my dad would come down and challenge me to a game of golf. Those are very fond memories, and I love my dad. Let's see here. Our next game is a game that everybody that owned a Nintendo 64 probably had. GoldenEye 007. The first real first-person shooting game. That's arguable, but it definitely set the standard. And I love playing that game too. This is a game right here that I loved hooking the Game Shark up to. And I do have a Game Shark right here. Game Shark Pro. I don't have the code book anymore for it, but I don't even know if I need it. I need to plug that in and see, because it's probably ready to go. As a matter of fact, I think all the cheat codes are saved either on the memory card or in the the game itself doesn't have a save feature, but or does it? I don't really remember how the system works. It's been so long since I plugged it in and played it, but I think as soon as I launch that game, the cheat codes are already ready to go. No, those are the ones that you earn from playing paintball mode and everything, and big head mode. This game was fun. I didn't play it a whole lot, but it was definitely It would get your adrenaline pumping if you played it. Extreme G, XG2. That game right there is a very fun racing game. It is super fast paced. So if you've never played it before, but you do have a Nintendo 64, you should buy you a copy. You can get them pretty cheap. Our next game, this is one of the later games that I bought, but I thought it would be fun, so I gave it a shot, and it actually is pretty fun. A Bug's Life. That's probably one of the least popular games that you'll see in my collection here. I didn't really do like the WCW and the wrestling games and baseball games. I liked adventure games and shooting games. But A Bug's Life was a really cool game. And not quite halfway through, Tetrisphere. Tetrisphere is well, it's basically the game of Tetris, but you're playing on a spherical object. So Tetrisphere is pretty challenging, especially when you get deeper in the levels and it gets harder. Tetrisphere, that'll probably be the first one I plug in when I play later. Next up is another one that I used to play with my father, and I also played GoldenEye with my father. I forgot to mention that, but he wasn't too good at that one. He actually put up a good fight when it came to like Mario Kart, and this one, Diddy Kong Racing, that was very fun times. It's another one of those ones he would come down and challenge me to a race. And speaking of that, I should have another game in there that we used to play. Nightmare Creatures. Nightmare Creatures. That was a pretty cool one. I didn't really care for the camera too much, because like when you got into corners, it was really prevalent how this system was programmed and how the games were programmed. But when you would get into a corner, you couldn't just turn the camera and go look back the direction that your character's looking. You would have to get away from that corner for the camera to show you what you were looking at when you were walking backwards, or something like that. Somebody decided to mow their lawn next door. I do apologize for that. But I'm not going to get an opportunity to finish this video another time, so at least not today like I want to. So we'll continue on. And our next game is Army Men, Sarge's Heroes. And that is another fun game. Before you even get too far into the game, just the boot camp when you're learning how to do everything is pretty cool. But it's a fun game, and it's another one I'll recommend to you if you've never played it. Got 4 more to go. It's unbearable, isn't it? Next game is South Park. And South Park was a very fun game. It kind of pushed the envelope, or at least pushed the limits of, during that time, what would have been deemed acceptable. But you're basically running around as one of the characters, and you are the world's being taken over by turkeys. So you're killing turkeys, and you're using snowballs, dodgeballs, to throw at them. But one of the types of snow you can throw is pea-covered snow. So you could actually take a snowball that you were tossing on the screen, and it would disappear down below the screen, and you'd hear the zip sound and the pee sound, and you were taking piss-covered snowballs and throwing them at turkeys and killing them. That's South Park for you. Would you please? Our next game was a really good one for me to play at that time in my life. This is considered potentially one of the best games that was ever developed. It's really fun to play. It's very immersive. You get involved in what's going on. And, even though these are all animated games and you're not like real characters, it's I don't even know how to describe how great it was for me to play this game at that time in my life. And that is Zelda Ocarina of Time. That is an incredible game. It just takes so long to complete it that I don't know if I have it in me anymore to sit back and play a game like that. 2 more games left. One of them is the other one I was talking about that me and my dad used to play. And that is Mario Kart 64. And the maps on this game are wonderful. And this is another one that my father would challenge me to play. Once again, late at night after he got home and before I had to go to bed, he'd just come downstairs and say, "You up for a match?" And I was always up for a match with my dad. So Mario Kart 64. Awesome racing game. Throw banana peels down, and obviously in hopes that one of the other players would hit your banana peel and slide off track. Anyway, last game is probably one of the most well-known games for the N64 system, and fetches a pretty good price tag. I've looked at it on eBay to see, if any of my games had value. But this one I couldn't quite get into the way I did in the past. When I used to play it, I know I used to love the game, but I plugged it in. Even though it's been several years, when I plugged it in, it wasn't quite the same. I couldn't remember all the controls and where to go and everything. But me and my dad also played this one as well. There was a multiplayer mode where one person is either trying to get into, the other person's lair, and it's fun. Conker's Bad Fur Day. I know you've heard of it, and that is a great one to play. That's the extent of the games. Like I said, I do have a Game Shark to go along with it. I do have this system. It's actually plugged in my game room. I just haven't turned it on forever. And I got the Rumble Pack. And I have a memory card for saving my games. So that's my collection of Nintendo 64 games. And down in the comments, if you'd like to, you can let me know which games you have. I used to rent a lot of them from Blockbuster, so this right here doesn't cover all of the ones that I played. But if you'd like to tell me about a game that you played and maybe it was very meaningful or important to you, share it down below, and maybe it will trigger a memory for me too, or somebody else that's watching this video and reading the comments. So definitely leave a comment down below, and I just wanted to thank you guys very much for watching this video with me, and more content's on the way, so stay tuned. Thank you.